Yeah, so we are in some pretty deep territory here with Dzogchen and Mahamudra and these higher level practices dealing with a lucid mind and empty cognizance, as Tulku Rinpoche always liked to term it. And so when we get pointed to awareness itself as the nature of mind, we see the cognizant aspect that permeates all thoughts, emotions, body, sounds, sights, feelings, everything. So just like lakes, ponds, water from the rain, all that has the nature of wetness. So we can say the nature of water is wetness. Well, your thoughts, your emotions, your body, your hearing, your seeing has the nature of cognizance. And so when you discover that, you discover the nature of everything. And then when you start to see the bindus, it's just like being pointed to awareness, something that's always been there, but you hadn't noticed it because the mind was distracted, preoccupied, fixated, contractually grasping. And so then this is where you start to change the direction from you imputating onto this reality to what they call absorption. So now you're absorbing into reality and you're still relatively, from the relative vantage point, you're still walking around. You can still have a job and eat and walk your dog or whatever, or have your dog walk you. And so when you abide like this, that's why it's water being poured into water, because your entire experience is bathing in itself. So we can listen to what we see, just like music. Just like our ears can listen to sound, we can listen to what we're seeing rather than being so involved in it. And so the bindus start to really retract our hooks. It's like we're really convinced of a simulation. And the more your mind is invested in it, the more unnatural that is. And you can still have your full heart here in this simulation without being tricked by it, without subscribing to its antics. Now, so retrieve your mind. Pull it back from those worries about your job or your parents or uh, money problems, existential anxiety, whatever it may be. Repossess your mind. Get it out of there. Empower yourself. All those situations are going to be way better off with you recollecting your mind. When you recollect your mind from its preoccupations, like I don't have much here to be really preoccupied with, okay, but I'll fake it. Let's say I'm really obsessed with the mountain. I can't stop thinking about this mountain, but at the same time, there's a cloud that looks like a dog. So I'm now thinking about the cloud that looks like a dog and the mountain, and it looks like the moon's coming up, and I wanted to write a poem about the moon. So I'm really thinking about the moon, but I can't really write the poem yet because that cloud that looks like a dog, maybe I need to paint it or something, take a photo of it or something. You see how my mind can easily become invested in all these things. My mind's invested in the mountain. My mind's invested in the cloud, invested in the moon. And so now I'm hooking into phenomenon. But actually, you can still write your poem and draw your cloudy doggy picture by just relaxing and taking your mind back and coming into the holistic, empty cognizance, the very base dimension for all movement. Light moves within the basis of your mind. Were you aware when the light turned on? That means your mind can hold light. So, in this way, I'm just trying to give you a connection here between Trekcho and Togyao. Which Togyao is more related, I suppose, to the wisdom of the Dharmadhatu in the five wisdom scheme. So those are very useful, I suppose, when you get down to the elements, and the elements being reified vibrations. They're solidified vibrations they're essentially mind lights that we're solidifying. But this goes into pretty deep territory. We need to allow the awareness to reveal this, allow our subscriptions to um, be lost within awareness. Because at the end, whatever you're hooked on, whatever desires you have, all that, it just comes down to elemental compounds, elemental aggregates, right? You're hooked on the five elements in some way or another. Okay, I tried my best just to give a little introduction and then tied together Trekjo and Togyao there in case it benefits. And then, of course, when you see the bindus and you start to see the rainbow light, and when time starts to fall away, we continue to leave that. Yes. Mm. Come home to that primordial union of the three kayas. So it says here, and this will continue to Pacho Rinpoche text, a profound path to enlightenment according to the ultimate great perfection, Dzogchen. Of course, Pacho Rinpoche was uh, living in the 19th century, I believe, relatively recent, and was known as the Old Dog, and wrote this text here. And we'll start off with the life and liberation of the mind. Emma Ho, which means great, amazing. Mind itself has always been without substance. It is not seen by looking, but it is emptiness. It is not a void, but is cognizant and clear. This inseparable awareness and emptiness is pervasive like space. You can steady it, but it moves aimlessly and unimpededly. You can set it in motion, but it returns to its own natural state. Even without arms and legs, it runs about everywhere. In motion, it does not disappear, but returns to its own place. Even without eyes, it sees everything. Ah, you hear that, Chico? But the experience of seeing turns into emptiness. You cannot pinpoint any essence of mind, and yet thoughts and impressions still arise. It is not existent because it turns into emptiness. It is not non existent because it thinks, sees, and experiences. The radiance of the union of appearance and emptiness blazes. The self radiance of empty yet cognizant Dharmakaya is clear. Complete with the five wisdoms, it radiates fully. The primordial pure natural state is spontaneously present. The kayas and pure realms appear without obstruction, and the mother and child luminosities merge as one. The natural state of mind, which is like this. Have you realized it? All you realized ones? Have you understood it? All you great meditators? Put this into practice, all you yogis. Ha! Just gonna pause. Just gonna pause for a second. Anybody else notice that I mentioned like 5 things before I read this that were mentioned in this text? Holy crap, I did not plan that. I didn't read this section before I came here today. That is some serious synchronicity. The Kayas, all of it. Well, thank you, Pacho Rinpoche. Wow. Oh, Sterling is here. Yeah, wow. I can't believe it. Well, put this into practice, all you yogis. Moving on. Wow, that's amazing stuff there. So, introduction on the self liberation of delusion, which is like turning poison into medicine. Okay, remember everybody, it doesn't say introduction or instruction. Yeah, it doesn't say introduction. It says instruction of on the self liberation of delusion. So it doesn't say instruction on you having to do a bunch of stuff for the liberation of delusion. It says instruction on the self liberation of delusion. Can we trust that? That's what makes this path kind of high level, so to speak, why it's the ninth yana. Because self liberation, that everything will work its way out in the great colander of awareness. This is difficult to trust and have confidence until we start to ourselves see the evidence within awareness, which is possible. So, in emptiness, there is no miserliness. It is through delusion that miserliness arises. So, I think we can say greed, right? Without delusion, look into the one who feels miserly. Look and sustain that without distraction. Miserliness is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of miserliness. There is no generosity higher than this. For the yogi who realizes it, Amaho, how amazing! In emptiness, there is no attachment. It is through delusion that attachment arises. Without delusion, look into the one who feels attached. Look and sustain that without distraction. Attachment is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of attachment. There is no discipline higher than this. For the yogi who realizes it, Emaho, how amazing! In emptiness, there is no anger. It is through delusion that anger arises. Without delusion, look into the one who feels angry. Look and sustain that without distraction. Anger is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of anger. There is no patience higher than this. For the yogi who realizes it, Emaho, how amazing. In emptiness, there is no laziness. It is through delusion that laziness arises. Without delusion, look into the one who feels lazy. Look and sustain that without distraction. Laziness is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of laziness. There is no diligence higher than this. For the yogi who realizes it, Emaho, how amazing. In emptiness, there is no distraction. It is through delusion that distraction arises. Without delusion, look into the one who feels distracted. Look and sustain that without distraction. Distraction is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of distraction. There is no concentration higher than this. For the yogi who realizes it, Emaho, how amazing. In emptiness, there is no confusion. It is through delusion that confusion arises. Without delusion, look into the one who feels confused. Look and sustain that without distraction. Confusion is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of confusion. There is no wisdom higher than this. For a yogi who realizes it, Emaho, how amazing. In emptiness, there is no conceit. It is through delusion that conceit arises. Without delusion, look into the one who feels conceited. Look and sustain that without distraction. Conceit is cleared away and becomes emptiness. Rest without distraction in this emptiness experience. That is the total purification of conceit. There is no contentment higher than this. For the yogi who realizes it, Emaho, how amazing. Very good. So Patel Rinpoche went through the 5 poisons there, countered by the 5 wisdoms. Some new translation, typically we would hear pride for conceit and little things like that. But if you know the 5 kleshas of the Buddha Dharma, then you can plug them in there. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yeshi, for facilitating that. Thank you, everyone here in the awakened audience. And then all those on YouTube who watch these videos and show love to the channel. And then also sending emails and coming to the group. This is so awesome. I love being a part of it. And I love all the meditation stuff, the history of it, and the future of it, if we want to talk time, I'll talk about it, but that doesn't mean I believe in it. So yeah, very good. We had a nice little text exploration there, and I want to open the mic just in case. Are there any final comments, questions, anything before we check out today?
I just want to say, Imaho,
Emaho. Yes.
big up, shout out. I brought the view to Qigong today, so that was
Oh,
good. And signed in after class.
very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, qigong with plus awareness. Woo, good stuff. It's like yoga with awareness, right? Or
Yeah,
any.
driving with awareness.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to do. Okay. Anyone else? Final thoughts? We all gonna sleep in the bindus tonight? Is she gonna have a bindu day? Yeah, she's day is just starting. Oh, I did acknowledge your comment too, Deirdre. Earlier, I saw your sharing, so thank you for that. All right, and there are certain times where it seems like doing a few mantras for all sentient beings is good. So we're gonna do a few, three Om Mani Padme Hums and close out with three dedication mantras. On the second hand market, huh? Okay, Luke, good luck with that. All right. So, in this very presence, there are beings that are suffering, who are sick, injured, alone. However, we may reach them with these mantras. We'll do Om Mani Padme Hum for the benefit of all these beings that are suffering. Om Mani Padme Om Padme Om And for any merit that we've created through this session, we dedicate it to all sentient beings. Gewa magin dodu kunlanu. Gewa magin dodu kunlanu. Gewa magin dodu kunlanu. Deep bow to you, my friends. Thank you so much. Yeah, happy Losar. Have a beautiful day.